Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to our little mini-series here leading into MLB The Show 19. Your players, we are checking them out. Harrison Mann is in this with the Chattanooga Lookouts. He went 1 for 3 in game number 1 against the Montgomery Biscuits. And then in game number 2, he goes 1 for 5, but he does hit 2 RBIs in this one. Good for him. And he stole a base. So Harrison Mann providing some offense. Game number 3, he would smack a 1 for 3 and 5 RBIs. What? On a 1 for 3? Gotta check that out. I know he probably hit a grand slam and then a sac fly. That's probably what it looks like he did. Makes some sense. Wow, a grand slam for Harrison Mann. Now we'll look into game number 4. Harrison Mann goes 0 for 4, bringing his average back down to 200. But he has that grand slam, so it's all gravy. And then he goes 2 for 4, so he goes back up to 263. That's not bad. Not a bad series for him. And a stolen base, so providing that on the base pads, and they would win that series. Now we have the Omaha Storm Chasers and the Nashville Sounds. And for Omaha winning this game, Lynch helping him out a good bit, 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. So he hit a homer in the game. Nice for him. Then we move into game number 2, and there's Lynch again, 1 for 4 with an RBI. Another home run for Lynch. Homers in 2 straight games for Alex Lynch Jr. Now Omaha again, there he goes 2 for 5 with a run scored. No RBIs in this one, but he does score, which is very important. And another win for the Storm Chasers as they sweep the Nashville Sounds. Now they'll play Sacramento, and it's a 1-1 series, now a 2-1 series against them, and they will lose. So the Storm Chasers get bounced. And Lynch goes 1 for 4 with an RBI in game number 1, with an RBI double, I would assume. He also had an error in the field, which isn't too cool. Then in game number 2, was he a key cog? He went 1 for 3 with 3 ribbies. That's pretty big. So he did homer in the game, 3 RBIs, and he had a sac fly. So it must have been a 2-run shot and a sac fly for him. Then he went 0 for 4 in the 8-0 loss, which is not good. Then in the 5-7 loss, they did not let him play. That's an oof. All right, so Alex Lynch bounced from the postseason. We'll go into Harrison Mann, and Harrison Mann goes 2 for 6 with a run scored. Gets a double. Then in game 2, his team wins 10-0, and he was a big part of it, going 4 for 5 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. He hit a double, 2 doubles, and a triple. Nice. And then another shutout for his team, pitching on his team, doing very well. But there he is, going 2 for 4 with a run scored and a strikeout. He did hit a double. So Harrison Mann, a big part of the Chattanooga Lookouts, winning a title in Double-A. So we will now move into Major League side of things, and we have our first award winner. It's QJ Kazmir of the Atlanta Braves. 37 homers, 93 ribbies. He gets a Silver Slugger for third base. And now we'll be into the playoffs where Colin Mentor is in the wild card with the Rockies, and they will beat Marty McBomber's Brewers. So we'll see Mentor goes 2 for 5 with a run scored and a strikeout, but hey, bat at 400 in the game. You can't really complain there. He did hit a double in the game and stole a base, so good. McBombers would get in as a pinch hitter, and he would go 1 for 1 with an RBI. What did McBombers do? McBombers, okay, he got an RBI single. Big hit for Marty McBombers, but not enough for his team to move on. Now, Justin Jones and the White Sox are taking on the Red Sox, and the Red Sox would get the win. Let's see how Justin Jones did. Justin Jones went 0 for 4 with a strikeout. That's a new for Rooney. So, not good for him. And now we're checking out the Astros, who will win the ALDS in 4 games. Tom Terrific gets a save in game number 1. That is huge. Game number 2, it's a 7-0 loss. And no pitch for him. Then in game number 3, it's a 1-0 win. I would imagine he picked up a save here. Come on. Show me. Show me the money. Okay. That's a malfunction. But I imagine he picked up the save. We'll go to game number 3, and yes, it's confirmed he picked up the save. There's 3 straight saves. That was a very weird malfunction in the video. Sorry about that. Okay, so we move on, and it's horrific. Yes, okay, good. We went there. We fixed that. Okay. Whew, that was a malfunction with the game. So, 3 straight saves for Tom Terrific in 3 opportunities, and they will move on. Now, the Kansas City Royals will take on the Red Sox, and Allen would play defense in the game. So, no offensive at-bats for him. Now we move on again. There is Allen, and no at-bats for him. He's playing the position of shortstop as a true second baseman, but that's fine. And again, this time he gets an at-bat, but he does not get a hit. So batting 0, but a sweep of the Red Sox, which is good because I like to see different. Colin in a game 5, and his Rockies would win it. So let's see how Colin does. He went 3 for 3, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, and 2 walks. What a game for Colin Mentor in game number 1. He hit a homer, and he stole a base. He had a fantastic outing. Now, game number 2, there's Colin going 1 for 4 with a run scored, 2 RBIs, and a walk. Man, Colin just reaching base any way he can. He gets a double in the game with the 2 RBIs. So now we move to game 3, and it's a 6-2 loss for his squad. And we'll see how he did. He went 0 for 4. So when Colin's not getting hits, Rocky's not winning games. As we move to game number 4, which they would lose 9-5, and Colin 0 for 3 in the game with a run scored and a walk and a strikeout. So when he walked, he scored a run. So Colin a key cog. Now, the game number 5, the pivotal game in which he goes 2 for 4 with an RBI. He was part of the victory. Right there in the action. Big stuff. Him and Trevor Story were huge in that game. So now he moves to the NLCS against the Washington Nationals, where he has a 3-1 lead. Don't blow it, Colin! And they do not. So they win that NLCS in 6 games. Colin goes 1 for 3 with a run scored and 3 ribbies. He's batting .346 in the postseason. He hit a homer, and he was hit by a pitch, and a sac fly. I mean, he just did a lot in this game. But it's a 6-0 win, and he had half of the RBIs. So huge for Colin. Now we move to game number 2, where he would go 2 for 2 with 2 walks and an RBI. One of the only 2 RBIs in that loss. Now we move to the 11-1 game 3 win, in which Colin would go 1 for 3, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, and 2 walks. Again, Colin is like a key instrument in this wheel of Colorado Rockies. I believe Colin hit a home run in that game, too. I think that's what I just saw. Now we move to the 10-8 win, which was huge. Look at this game. It was 8-2 in the 6th inning. And from then on, the Rockies dominated. Colin went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a walk, so he was part of it. Every RBI counts, and he brought one in. He did have an error in the field, which could have hurt a little bit. 8-1 loss. Who got that 1 RBI? wasn't Colin. He was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Not his best performance. Brought his average down to 342, but that's still a really good average in the postseason. Then he goes 1 for 4 with a run, an RBI, a walk, 2 strikeouts. Again, he hit a homer, a solo shot for Colin, propelling the Rockies to the World Series, and they will take on the Kansas City Royals, who will take down the Houston Astros. And Allen not getting into the game, and Terrific not pitching in that game, even though it was a 4-3 win. Here's a 6-5 loss, and Allen doesn't really do much. I mean, he's really just a defensive specialist, isn't he? Then an 11-5 win for Houston. Allen would go 0 for 1 in that game, so he gets a chance to prove himself, and he's not doing it, so that's pretty much the reason why he's sticking as a defensive sub. An 11-9 win for Kansas City. Allen goes 0 for 1 again. I mean, that would make me never want to let the guy hit, too, if that's what he was doing every time. And Haxon gets into the game as he joined Terrific on the Astros. Weird to have 2 closers on the same team, but I guess that's what the Yankees are doing in real life. And there's Haxon. He would be the last guy to pitch. He would give up the 2 runs that would be in the 9th inning, but it didn't matter. It was already a blowout at that point, so Haxon, not great showings. Terrific didn't pitch. Allen didn't really hit, but he is going to take on Colin in the World Series, and he's up 2-0 after 2 straight 7-6 wins. Game 3 at Colorado would be a loss, and then a win for Kansas City. They have a chance to close it out. They do not. It's a 3-2 lead for Kansas City, and in 6 games, Jacob Allen and the Kansas City Royals are your World Series champions. Sad for Colin. He goes 1 for 4 in game number 1 with a homer. Or was that a double? That might not have been a homer. But he does bring in an RBI. And then Colin in game number 2 goes 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored. So he came across the plate twice in that one. Allen would go 0 for 0, so still batting 0 on the postseason. 0 hits for him. Then Allen goes 0 for 1, so still batting 0 on the postseason, and the Rockies would get the win. It's a 1 for 3 showing with a walk and a strikeout for Colin. And then here in game number 4, which would give the Royals a 3-1 lead. Again, Allen not doing anything. Colin went 0 for 3. Bringing his postseason average to near 100, which started at 340, or around 340. Allen still at 0, and then Colin goes to 310 with a 1 for 3 showing. He had a double in the game, and then this game right here, which would close it out, Colin goes 0 for 4, bringing himself under 300 for the first time in the postseason, and Allen does not even get a hit. So there you go, your first World Series champion that was actually on the roster is Jacob Allen. And there is Colin Mentor. I'm just showing you his postseason stats because he did have a great postseason. 4 homers, 14 RBIs, batting .290 with 3 stolen bases. And a .5 WAR, which isn't fantastic, but good enough. Then I'll leave you guys on this episode with a very funny thing that John Zoidberg goes back to the Phillies in the Rule 5 draft. So these idiots drafted him and then took him in the Rule 5 draft. So he will play in the majors next year, even though he's their 3rd best catcher. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. If you made it to the end and you did enjoy, you are a GOAT. And subscribe if you're new, because there's plenty more content coming your way, not just this series. Check it all out. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the very next episode.